Welcome to Biology, my dear student. We are learning Chapter 2 Biological Classification. And in this chapter, we have learned about 5 kingdom system of classification, and we have learned about the first kingdom Monera, then about the second kingdom Protista, then we have learned about the third kingdom Fungi. So, my dear student, about kingdom Plantia, okay, which is the fourth kingdom, we will learn in chapter 3. And about the fifth kingdom, that is kingdom Animalia, we will learn in chapter 4. So, my dear student, today let's learn about a very important living structure which is not considered in any classification, but this structure is very important when we study the living life. Okay, so my dear student, we are going to learn about viruses. So when you say viruses, okay, when you say virus, so virus, it is not a cell, okay, it is much smaller than a cell. So to be cell, a cell must consist plasma membrane, okay, then it must consist cytoplasm, then it must have a nucleus. So to be a definite cell, these structures are very important. Then again, in cytoplasm, different cell organelles such as mitochondria, ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum, okay, Golgi body, this are also present. So when all these things are present, then we will call it as a cell. But my dear student, this virus is much smaller than a cell, okay, and viruses, okay, when they are in contact with the living body, they act as living, okay, whenever they are outside the living body, they act as non-living. So because of this purpose, these viruses are not considered in classification, okay, because this is a very confusing, okay, confusing character, we can say. So they show both the living as well as non-living character. So because of which these viruses we will study in a different topic. So today let us learn about virus. So my dear student, virus means venom or poisonous fluid. So virus, actually the meaning of virus means, what is the meaning of virus? Poison, okay, or venom. Clear? The name virus was given by Pasteur. So Pasteur, the scientist, the biologist, he gave the name virus. So you should keep in mind that the meaning of virus is venom or poisonous, whereas the name virus was first given by Pasteur. Okay. Then my dear student, D.J. Iwonsky in 1892 first recognized a microbe, okay, and the microbe name was tobacco mosaic virus or TMB virus, okay, which cause mosaic disease of tobacco. So my dear student, in 1892, Iwonsky for the first time he recognized a virus which name is tobacco mosaic virus and which causes a disease, mosaic disease, in tobacco. So here is a picture which shows that how this virus causes mosaic disease in tobacco. A leaf, it is destroyed by virus by its infection. Okay, now my dear student, on the right hand side you will see a diagram, Okay, and this is the diagram of tobacco mosaic virus. So this is how the tobacco mosaic virus look. So here you can see some labeled portion are there. So RNA coiled. So this red color, can you see the coiled? So this is RNA. Okay, and RNA is coiled. And can you see here capsule-like structure? So these are protein molecule. So we can say that tobacco mosaic virus, it is made up of RNA and protein. Okay, so this is the structure of tobacco mosaic virus, and it was for the first time recognized by Evonsky in 1892, which causes mosaic disease in tobacco. Okay. Then, my dear student, W.M. Stanley in 1935 showed that viruses could be crystallized. So, in 1935, W.M. Stanley, he showed the world that viruses can be crystallized, and crystals consist of protein. Okay, and crystal consists largely of protein, and he for the first time showed that viruses can be of crystal, and these crystals are largely made up of protein. Okay, now let us learn about virus structure and nature of genetic material. So what are virus structure and what are the nature of genetic material they possess? Virus contains protein. So my dear student, um, we have already came to know that virus is much smaller than a cell. Then what is there in virus? So virus contains protein. So protein is there in virus structure, and also genetic material, and also a genetic material that could be either RNA or DNA. Okay, so virus ultimately it is made up of protein and genetic material. So genetic material, either it may be RNA or DNA. Okay, so no virus contains both RNA and DNA, and this is very important that virus may have RNA or DNA. Both RNA and DNA are not present in virus. So in a single virus you cannot find RNA as well as DNA. Okay, so this is a very important characteristics of virus, that they either contain RNA or DNA. Both RNA and DNA are not present in virus. So this thing you should keep in your mind. So virus contain protein, and along with protein a genetic material. So genetic material may be RNA or DNA. Clear? So a virus is a nucleoprotein. So in this way we can say that a virus is a nucleoprotein. Nucleoprotein means nucleic acid plus protein. So nucleic acid, it may be RNA or DNA plus protein. Okay, and the genetic material is infectious. So my dear student, this is very important to know that a virus, the genetic material is infectious. Okay, so protein part is not the portion that cause infection in human body or in other organism. Which portion infect the living structure? Okay, so the genetic material causes the disease. So genetic material is responsible for all the diseases. Okay, so virus causes disease, so this is because of this genetic material. Okay, so my dear student, if a virus has to be destroyed, then this genetic material, okay, so their genetic material, somehow if it is stopped to replicate, okay, so or if somehow this genetic material is not allowed to enter the body, then what happen? Infection is not, okay, infection by the virus would be stopped. Okay. Then, my dear student, in general, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA. So, in generally, what happen? Viruses that infect, that causes disease in plant are mainly single-stranded RNA. Okay. So, plant virus we may consider always single-stranded RNA. Okay, in general cases. Whereas viruses that infect animals have either single or double stranded RNA. Okay, so in animal infection, so viruses that causes disease in animals, they may be either single or double stranded RNA. Okay, or double stranded DNA. So any one can cause the disease. So either single or double stranded RNA or double stranded DNA. Okay, so we came to know about virus structure. So virus structure is a nucleoprotein structure. Okay, and nucleic acid plus protein. Okay, and that nucleic acid is the genetic material. Clear? So nucleic acid we know, RNA and DNA are the nucleic acid, and these are the genetic material. Okay, and this genetic material is the infectious one, and that causes the disease. Okay, so my dear student, today we came to know about the genetic material that are present in virus and about the structure of virus. So types of viruses. So here are some diagram of viruses of different types. So you can see here, first is helical. Okay, the structure is helical, and example is tobacco mosaic virus. So my dear student, here you can see it is labeled RNA. So in tobacco mosaic virus, which genetic material is present? RNA. Okay, and can you see capsomere of capsid? So these are made up of protein. Clear? Then next second diagram you can see polyhedral, okay, structure, that is polyhedral structure. Here the example is adenovirus. So adenovirus, can you see here the structure is a little different, isn't it? Polyhedral structure. Here the genetic material is DNA. Okay, and here the capsomere, okay, these are actually made up of glycoprotein. So can you see here some glycoprotein structures are also there. That means other than protein, there some carbohydrate are also present with the protein, because of which they form a complex conjugate protein, that is glycoprotein. Okay, and polyhedral structure example is adenovirus. So adenovirus look in this form. Okay, then next you can see spherical virus. So here the infectious genetic material is RNA. Can you see here RNA? Okay, then they also have a membranous envelope, a cover is there, and in outside you will find a layer, that is glycoprotein layer. Okay, and example is influenza virus. So my dear student, this spherical virus, another virus which is very famous nowadays, that is coronavirus. So can you see the structure of coronavirus? In these types of virus, in which type you will consider that coronavirus? That is the spherical virus. So spherical virus, another example may be coronavirus. Okay, then my dear student, next the complex. So can you see this complex structure? So this complex structure is bacteriophage. Okay, and in bacteriophage the genetic material is DNA. So about bacteriophage in next class we will learn. So my dear student, with this today let's end here. Thank you.